It was one of those gray, chilly afternoons when the world seemed to move in slow motion. The highway stretched endlessly, wet from a morning drizzle, and cars zipped by without a glance at the silver Mercedes parked helplessly on the shoulder. Inside, Clara Williams, a woman known across the city as one of the most successful real estate developers in the country, sat frustrated behind the wheel. Her phone had no signal, her tire was flat, and her perfectly manicured hands weren't meant for lug nuts and jacks. She was used to being helped by assistants, chauffeurs, and chauffeurs' assistants, but today there was no one. Then out of nowhere, a boy about 12 years old appeared on a rusty old bike. His clothes were worn, shoes covered in dust, but his eyes, bright and kind, carried the warmth missing from the cold day. "Ma'am, do you need help?" he asked, parking his bike a few feet away. Clara hesitated. "Oh, sweetheart, that's very kind of you, but this isn't something you can handle." The boy smiled. "My dad taught me. I help people at the gas station down the road sometimes." Before she could protest, the boy was already kneeling by the tire, pulling out an old wrench from his backpack. His fingers worked quickly and confidently. Clara watched in silence. There was something humbling about it, a child with so little helping her, a woman who had everything. When he finished, he wiped his hands on his jeans and stood up. "There, you should be good to go." Clara opened her purse. "Wait, what's your name?" "Ethan," he said shyly. "Well, Ethan, you've been a big help today. Please take this." She pulled out a crisp $100 bill. But Ethan shook his head. "No, ma'am. My dad says we don't help people for money. We help because it's the right thing to do." Clara froze. Those words hit her harder than any deal gone wrong, harder than any rejection she'd ever faced. She insisted, "At least let me give you a ride home." Ethan pointed down a small dirt road. "It's just up ahead, ma'am. My mom's waiting for me. She's sick, so I can't stay out long." Something about that tugged at her heart. "Your mom's sick." He nodded, smiling faintly. "Yeah, but I'm saving up to get her better medicine. I'll figure it out." Clara drove away, but his words lingered. That night she couldn't sleep. The image of the boy, the sincerity in his voice, the dirt on his shoes, the pride in his eyes, kept replaying in her mind. The next morning she drove back down the road, following the same dirt path. At the end of it stood a small, run-down trailer, with a faded blue door and a yard littered with old toys. Ethan was outside fixing his bike. When he saw her car, his eyes widened. "Ma'am, you came back." Clara stepped out holding a small envelope. "Ethan, you helped me when you didn't have to. You reminded me what kindness really means. I wanted to return that kindness." Inside the envelope was a check, enough to pay off their medical bills, buy a new home, and change their lives forever. Ethan's mother came to the door, frail but smiling through tears. "Ma'am, we can't accept this." Clara gently held her hand. "You already gave me something money can't buy. Let me do this for you." A few years later, Clara sat in the audience at a local high school graduation. On stage stood Ethan, now taller, confident, and ready for college. He was the valedictorian, speaking about hope, hard work, and the power of kindness. He spotted Clara in the crowd and smiled. Their eyes met, no words, just understanding. Later, as reporters surrounded him, one asked, "Ethan, what inspired you to start your charity foundation for families in need?" He smiled softly. "Once I helped a stranger fix her flat tire. I thought I was helping her, but it turns out she helped me far more than I could imagine." Moral: kindness has a ripple effect. A small act of goodness can travel far beyond the moment it's given, changing lives, inspiring hearts, and reminding us all that humanity still shines brightest in the simplest acts of care. After the graduation ceremony, the crowd slowly dispersed. The sun had started dipping behind the horizon, painting the sky with warm strokes of orange and gold. Ethan held his diploma tightly in one hand and the scholarship letter in the other. As people congratulated him, he made his way toward the parking lot, where Clara stood quietly beside her car, watching him with proud eyes. "Hey, you made it," Ethan said with a wide grin. "I wouldn't have missed it for the world," Clara replied, her voice trembling slightly. "You've done something incredible, Ethan. Your speech, it reminded me why that day on the highway changed everything." He smiled, glancing down. "I still remember that flat tire like it was yesterday. I just did what Dad would have done." Clara took a deep breath. "You know, I never told you what that day meant to me. I was on my way to a meeting to fire half my staff. The company was struggling and I was bitter, exhausted, and honestly angry at everyone. Then you showed up, just a kid offering help without wanting anything in return." She looked away, eyes glassy. "You made me realize I'd lost touch with what truly mattered. That's why I started the Williams Foundation, to give second chances to people who need a break, like you and your mom once did." Ethan's eyes widened. "You did that because of me." Clara nodded. "Because of you." A few years passed. The next scene opens in a bustling downtown office with bright glass windows and a large logo, Williams and Hope Foundation. Inside, Ethan, now in his mid-20s, is sitting at a desk across from a group of interns, passionately explaining a new project to provide education grants for underprivileged youth. The once poor boy who fixed a tire was now helping thousands of others chase their dreams. Just then Clara, now older, her hair streaked with graceful silver, walked in. "You've taken this place farther than I ever imagined," she said with a proud smile. Ethan chuckled.